Today marks 150 days until the Scottish parliamentary elections next May. That's 150 days to decide as a nation whether we want to go back to a divided past or forward to a united future. To decide as both families and individuals the kind of country that we're going to build for the decades ahead, in which we, the Scottish Conservative Party, will stake our claim to be the real Scottish alternative to the SNP. Backing a secure economy which creates a decent job for people who have none, improving our schools and colleges and protecting our universities so that we offer greater opportunities to the next generation, and being no doubt always prepared to stand up and defend our place in our United Kingdom. We as a party are renewed in our values and in our purpose, and we are united in achieving our goals. We want to provide a positive vision for a Scottish Government that no longer seeks to create and widen conflicts, but acts constructively and energetically within our United Kingdom for the betterment of all. We're going to show that there is an alternative to the politics of grievance, an alternative to top-down centralisation, an alternative to raising taxes on everything that moves and a good deal that doesn't as well. We, the Scottish Conservatives, are that Scottish alternative. Now, some might say that I'm firing the starting gun on this election campaign a little early. Talking about an election in May today is a bit like sticking up your Christmas tree in September. But this is the week that our campaign really gets going. When I became leader, I decided I wanted to tear up the old way of selecting our candidates for these elections. And it wasn't something that we would be doing at the last minute, only to think about when an election was looming on the horizon. For 3.5 years, I have charged the candidates board that I set up with skills and experience from industry and the wider world to find, identify, encourage, assess, support the next generation of Scottish Conservatives that would take this party forward. I wanted the bright and the best, as our Parliament, our laws and our country deserved, serious people of serious high calibre. It has been a massive undertaking. Hundreds of new candidates have been vetted, and over the last few weeks, tens of thousands of Conservative supporters, not just members, all across Scotland have had their chance to rank these candidates. It is the biggest exercise in grassroots democracy that this party has ever undertaken. Later this week, on Friday and Saturday, the ballot boxes will be opened and we'll be able to unveil our regional list rankings for the next Parliament. I have absolutely no idea how that's going to shake out and who's going to top each list. But I do know two things. The first is that we are going to have a host of new faces and new names coming forward, new blood in our organisation and in our Parliament. The Scottish Conservative Party has changed, and come this weekend, everybody will see that. And secondly, whoever comes forward, I know I'm going to have a heavyweight team around me who are united in wanting to give something back to this country. People who are pledging their future to politics, but people with experience of the real world. We will be a party that looks, sounds and is like modern Scotland. Now, certain other parties, and I won't name names, haven't just failed to pick their candidates in some seats yet. It appears they haven't yet found candidates that are willing to stand. Nor have they quite decided yet how their list should be ranked or who should be entitled to vote for them. And I know that other parties, again, without naming names, are having issues over exactly who they allowed to stand, and exactly what they've gotten up to since they've taken office. Well, this week I want people to know that we are ready. We are prepared. I've brought our party to the starting line of this election in good shape. Not for us, the diversions and divisions over process and internal party matters. We, every single one of us, are focusing 100% on the concerns of working families across Scotland. And people can be sure of one other thing as well. This is a campaign and a movement that is planned, executed and organised and run from here in Scotland. I don't need to go to London and have David Cameron do a photo op signing a wee bit of paper to tell me that I'm in charge, and he doesn't need to do that either. Ours is a party that now gets devolution, and it has transformed itself to reflect entirely our modern view. This is a Scottish election, so this is our campaign. It's our policies, our plan and our ideas, made in Scotland, for Scotland. And come the new year, we will put out those policies in greater detail. Those policies that we want to see enacted here in Scotland. So today I want to set out the key issues we face as we enter the campaign instead. Because this election is of massive import to the country. For the first time we're choosing not just a parliament to spend money, but to raise it too. Huge powers will soon be under the Scottish Parliament's control, and finally, Scottish politics is about to get real. Secondly, because of years of stagnation, we need a proper debate about how best we improve our public services so that every child, every patient, every elderly person gets the education, the treatment and the care that they deserve. And thirdly, because this election will also determine how Scotland edges forward after the last few momentous years. The question facing us is this: are we going to entrench the divisions of the last 5 years? Are we going to stay in limbo with the shadow of continued constitutional turmoil hanging over us? Or are we going to move forward together, secure in our future, free from uncertainty that the last few years have brought? My plan for the campaign will be to respond to these three major issues: taxation, services and constitution. And I believe it is only the Scottish Conservatives which has the real alternative vision which Scotland so desperately needs. On the new tax pillars, we have a plan. People will have received letters from HMRC in the last few days telling them that the Scottish rate of income tax is coming and much, much more will follow. But the basic fact is this: if we use these powers wisely, we will all benefit. If we use them badly, our public services will suffer. This isn't a time for gesture politics, it's a time for cool heads and sensible stewardship. The priority should be to grow our tax base, to expand our economy, to get more high-value jobs, and that way we all benefit. But here's the thing: none of that will happen if we throw up a warning sign over Scotland that says higher taxes here. All parties therefore need to show that they have serious, thought-through plans. Our Commission on Competitive and Fair Taxation, headed by Sir Ian McMillan, will report back within the next few weeks and will help us inform our thinking. But our principles are already set. Scotland will only lose out if we increase the tax burden above and beyond the rest of the United Kingdom. There is no such thing as government money, only the money that governments take from the people and businesses of our country, and we say that people should never be taxed more in Scotland than in the rest of the UK, and voters can be assured that they won't lose out under us. So in this, as in all things at this election, we will be the genuine Scottish alternative to a status quo. And I point to our record here in order to demonstrate it. Over the last year, it's not been Labour which took on the SNP over the scandal of the attainment gap in education. It was us. It wasn't Labour which has put pressure on the SNP over the inflexible and status way in which it offers childcare for parents. That was us. It wasn't Labour that has backed parents who want to have the freedom to run their own cherished local schools. That was us. And it isn't Labour or the SNP which has a plan to fund 1,000 extra nurses and more bursaries for poorer students and can show you how to pay for it. That again is us. Labour has had 9 years as the official opposition in this country, with all of the extra resource and exposure that that brings. And yet in those 9 years, they have comprehensively failed in either task that an opposition has to fulfil, in either holding the government to account or providing a credible alternative vision. Well, we have that vision, friends. We will bring forward the fresh ideas and fresh thinking that Scotland is crying out for. And on Scotland's future, we will be clear. There is absolutely no case, none whatsoever, for the SNP taking this country back to yet more constitutional uncertainty. With a vote for the Scottish Conservatives in May, you're saying that you want to move on, that you want to put an end to it. A vote which says, I want to live in a country whose future isn't under a cloud but is assured. Simply, it's a vote restating your wish to stay part of the United Kingdom so that you and your family can get on with life. It's a vote that will ensure that the SNP hears you saying that. Now, I know that with Labour in such disarray, many people are worried, deeply worried, that Scotland is becoming a one-party state. People see Nicola Sturgeon remeasuring the curtains at View House. I know, and I've met, and you will have too, many Scots who fear it isn't good for our country to have one political party in such a dominant position. But my message to them is this. In the Scottish Conservatives, there is an alternative voice which will stand up to the SNP's plans for separation and constant flirtation with a second referendum. Something which neither Labour nor the Lib Dems appear to have the stomach for anymore. Both have now said they'd give their teams a free vote in independence and would stand back and applaud if any of their MSPs wanted to actively campaign for it in future. For two parties who spent years before the referendum telling everyone they would always stand up for the UK, it is pathetic and it is weak. And I will only repeat my commitment on this. We will stick by no voters. Head, heart, body and soul. We won't go soft in the union. We won't play the SNP's games and we won't fall for their spin. Because I say this, independence isn't inevitable. Independence on the SNP model is an increasingly discredited idea which Scots didn't vote for, they don't want, and which isn't going to happen. And a vote for us is a vote that makes that clear. No to separation, yes to a united future. The 2 million people who made that clear with their votes, we will be your voice in Holyrood. But I will say this, I don't want to stand here, month after month, year after year, restating that fact. I desperately want this constitutional battle to be over. Not because I fear the verdict of the Scottish people, not after last year, but because it has left us a more divided country. People with honest opinions on all sides have faced intimidation and abuse. Families and friendships have been tested. And with any debate over identity, it has become personal and all too often nasty. We didn't used to be like this as a country. I want this debate to be over because too often it has poisoned the well. And the obsession with the Constitution has damaged our politics. If I think of all the opportunities that Labour, Lib Dem and SNP administrations have had since devolution, we now have a Scottish Government whose budget is double that of the first Parliament in 1999. We have the resource and the mechanisms to think big and think differently. The truth is, that opportunity has been squandered. And in its place, we've had a dull and often dreary debate between a government which knows only how to spend money and expects credit for doing so, and an opposition whose only imaginative response is to promise to spend even more. Followed by the predictable wave of grudge and grievance and the blaming of Westminster, when inevitably the chequebook runs dry. There has got to be a better way. We need in Scotland to think harder and smarter about the road ahead. We need to break the mould, and in Scotland we have tested soft-less socialism to destruction, and now with every tumbling 60s tower block in Glasgow, we see it falling to pieces before our very eyes. Jeremy Corbyn may believe that those days should return. He should go and see what his brand of 1960s statism has achieved by trapping poor Scots in welfare dependency. And yet, rightly, we are suspicious of the alternative too, because we know that an unbridled free market has come up short. It's not just in Scotland, across the world. The old political parties are failing to provide the answers to these challenges. And some on the right say, hand more power to the markets, when we all know that the market has too often been shown to be rigged against working people. And the left says, hand more power to the state, when we all know that the state has failed and is failing to respond to our personal needs. We now have socialism with an iPad, says John McDonnell, by way of a response. If it had been left to the likes of John McDonnell, we could have invented the abacus, never mind the iPad. So my plan for this election is to use our strong foundations within the United Kingdom to set out a new vision. Not bowing to the big state on the one hand or genuflecting to unbridled free markets on the other, but of an active and energetic government that seeks to create a more level playing field and a better quality of life for us all. A moderate government which knows that the state can't do all and shouldn't try to, but knows that the state can strengthen society when used well. By intervening in families who need it and require our support, but by clearing out the way for the families who don't. by ending remote and centralised power which disempowers people, and instead handing that power back to communities to encourage an active and cooperative society. By having the ambition to make our schools the centre of our communities, by bringing parents and families back together, and by supporting infrastructure which eases trade but makes our living spaces more human. And by using our universities, not just to educate our young, but to spark entrepreneurism right across our country. And equality of opportunity, which runs through our nation like a pulsing vein, washing away the entrenched inequalities and levelling the playing field for all. Rejecting the dreary, big state monotone we hear from the SNP and Labour, but returning to those values which once inspired parties of the left, values that they long ago abandoned, values such as individual responsibility, collective endeavour, a strong society, energetic but limited government. In short, it's an attempt to get the state back working for people and not the other way around. And if the SNP, Labour and the Lib Dems want to spell out how this new politics can work, then I welcome them onto this ground. But I fear that they can't. The SNP, because it is trapped by the need to drive its independence obsession ever further forward. Labour, because its leadership can't presently agree how to peel a banana, never mind a run a country. And the Lib Dems, because they are now too weak. Well, we are strong, we are growing, and we know what we're about. We are a moderate party which will stay absolutely rock solid behind our UK. And for those 2 million people who voted no, I promise that I will be your voice. Left or right, I will stand for anyone who wants to make our devolved Scotland work and increase the benefits from being in Britain. So here's my message at 150 days out. Scotland isn't a one-party state. Not while I'm around. Our party has the team, the commitment, the energy, the ideas and the vision for the fight ahead. We are strong and we are growing. We take the responsibility that voters put in us seriously, and we see a clear choice for those voters. On the one hand, staying on the hamster wheel of the soft left, money solves all problems, no issue that more government can't fix, creeping taxes, managed decline, constitutional uncertainty. But we are determined to show that a better way is possible. Freedom in our schools, greater locality for our services, support for business, keeping taxes low, 2 governments working together in concert, not in conflict, maximising the resourcefulness, the drive, the ambition of our people, and bringing our divided country back together. A real alternative, a Scottish alternative. 150 days until we choose. 150 days for us to go out there and show that strength, to show that drive and commitment. The Scottish Conservatives won't sit back and watch a bloated and arrogant bunch of nationalists put the needs of our country at the back of the queue behind their separatist agenda. So we will work to show our vision, to win back the trust and support of the people of this country, street by street, town by town, showing communities that we will work for them and work for the betterment of our nation. I'm ready, I know you're ready, and the country is ready for a real Scottish alternative. Thank you very much.